Well, welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today is longtime drummer of the band Judas Priest, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and birthday boy, Scott Travis.
That's right. All in one. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for joining the show. Obviously, the band has a storied history. We could spend plenty of time on that, but I'm really not interested in your history. I'm interested about where you guys are going. You're going on tour. You got a new album. Let's start with after 40 years or so in the business, how do you find the motivation to go back on the road?
Man, you never, I never have to look for it. I don't think anybody in the band has to sum it up, as they say. It's there because from when you're a kid, when you're a lifelong musician, from the time you're a kid and you realize you want to play music, I think you always have the desire to play in front of people. So the fact that we're able to do that at this point in the band's career and this point of the world, really, where bands are it's becoming more and more expensive to tour, but it's a thrill and it's an honor. So it's to work it up and do it.
Yeah, it's the same motivation that I find every weekend to go and to tour around the United States and to play much smaller venues than the one you guys are playing. But it's something inside of you. It's a fire that burns inside of us. And I'm glad to hear that after all these years, it still drives you guys.
Yeah, it's a bit of gypsy in us that we all have, I think.
That's funny. I call my style of music modern gypsy rock.
Say, there you go.
Right in there. Well, I'm a huge fan of the old stuff, right? My dad was a big fan growing up. I'm younger than most of your fan base, but I remember the British Steel and Sad Wings of Destiny. But I've listened to the new album, and I gotta say, it sounds just as good, if not better, than the old stuff. And the energy is still there. Where's the inspiration for this new music?
I mean, again, it's one of those things when you sit down to write and then you actually start to record a record, you don't really know how it's going to turn out. Every band and every musician always thinks they're doing the best material they have at that time. So I think all of us, meaning all musicians, all band members, once you start recording and you're in the studio, you think, man, this is, people are going to like this. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it if we didn't think people were going to like it. So um, we we did it, and then luckily people like yourself and a lot of the fans, they seem to really like it, and we couldn't be more pleased. And that also, by the way, helps answer your first question. That also gives us motivation because we do know that the album was very well received. There's lots of people that enjoy the songs that we're doing live, and we want to do some more new songs off the record. But anyways, that helps motivate us as well to get out and tour when you have something new to play.
For sure. And that's kind of a shout to all of our creatives. We have a lot of musicians that watch the show and are big fans of the show. And that's why these conversations are so fun to bring you guys in that have had these careers in music. And whether you reached, the upper echelon as Judas Priest has, or guys that were just successful, we have a lot of South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, right? And they made careers out of it and did their thing too. It's
Absolutely.
really
Yeah.
yeah, it's really cool to see that, there's longevity to this. But you got to be putting out new stuff too. There's only longevity if you continue to evolve. And it's
Yeah.
so awesome to see, especially I mean, you guys are like godfathers of heavy metal, right? The band is. So you're coming out with stuff that is relevant to newer fans as well. It's got a great sound. It's big. It fills that anthem vibration. And I think I don't know because I'm too young, but do you feel like the energy of the whole world is ripe with that it was in the, late 70s, early 80s, that kind of tension that we have?
You mean today in 2024, the same tension?
Yeah, exactly. And does that make the conditions right for this kind of music? Not that there's ever a wrong time for JP, but does it make it kind of easier to write that kind of music and then to go out and perform it to arenas full of people?
Well, you know what? I think all heavy metal musicians, we've always been considered like the black sheep of the music world, you know. So I think all heavy metal musicians always feel like I've got something to prove. There's a little chip on my shoulder because heavy metal music, you know, isn't really think about it. Even like today in the Grammys, I don't even think they have a category for heavy metal. And if they do, it's kind of a subcategory, and they never announce it on television.
Right.
It's
It's
one of the
the
categories they announce at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, so that is still true. That heavy metal is still kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the music industry. So I think that always gives us motivations. It's not so much what's going on around the world. It's just I think when you play heavy metal, you realize you know you got a little bit of a uphill battle, and and that's what keeps us motivated.
it's that outsider mentality. Uh,
Yes.
to have something to prove. And I think that that for me, it's a lot of the same thing. I'm not a heavy metal guy, but we're kind of I call it a rock and country kind of thing. That's where we live. That's the music I grew up on. But we have a little
Sure.
edge to us, and we bring a little attitude. And I grew up in Deadwood, South Dakota. We're 1,000 people town, right? And even now,
Right.
I live in a farm town of 1,000 people. So yeah, when I show up in any city, we're definitely trying to appear bigger than maybe what we are. We're used to that. So it, it's uh
Yeah.
it's cool to hear that, you never lost that, because I think some bands do, and I think some heavy metal bands of yesteryear have definitely. So it speaks to the longevity of the band and the passion that you all have for the music.
Definitely.
So, Scott, physically at your age, keeping up with a rock and roll tour, is there anything you have to do differently now than, say, 1986?
You know, truthfully, not anything different other than well, I take it back. So if I say nothing different and then I give you a different answer, then it is something different. I just get your rest, you know. You just always have to be cognizant of not spending a lot of energy during the days doing too many extracurricular activity things like, you know, walking around the city or expending too much energy basically is the only thing that I kind of have not that I ever did that anyways. That's another thing I think about when I started touring with the band in 1990 and 91, 92. I still didn't do any sightseeing or anything because I think when you're on tour, you're kind of worn out, you know, and you try and save your energy for the night's show. And that's easy to do. It's easy to reserve that energy and just give it all you got, you know, when 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock rolls around and the lights go down.
Yeah, well, and that speaks to what we deal with a lot out here is that in the Midwest, and you guys will be touring through here. I live close to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and you guys will be hitting a few Midwestern cities. A lot of the bands that are
Yeah,
out here working, we're 9 to 5ers all week, right? There's very few guys that are in it, like I am full time and continuing to do that. But I have to have my hands in so many things, Scott, to maintain that. I'm not just performing, podcasting and in the media here in Sioux Falls. So it's hard to
sure.
try to find that energy sometimes. And yeah, it speaks to kind of how much harder it is to be that weekend warrior than just a full-time touring musician sometimes.
That's true. Yeah, you got to usually everybody has to do a couple of things just to make it work.
Yeah. So you excited to tour through the United States again? And you guys haven't been on tour for a few years now, is that what I heard?
No, no, no. We just finished, gosh, we did just this year in 2024, we've already done one tour of America, but it was mostly the East Coast and a little bit of the Midwest. And then we went to, let me back up. We started in Europe in late March. Then we came to America in late spring. And like I said, we did mostly the East Coast and a little bit of Midwest. Then we went back to Europe in the summer. And that was about a 2 month. We were over there for about 8 weeks. And then we just had a month off. And now we're getting ready to start the next leg in America. But this time it's mostly Midwest and heading west, you know, doing Arizona, California, Nevada, things like that. So, no, we're looking very much forward to it because we haven't played the western part of America in maybe a couple of years. but thinks
Right.
it's 20, in 2022. I think we did it. Yeah, but
Right.
um,
So you're just getting back and hitting the West Coast again. I'm sure you got a lot of fans out there that are hungry to see you, hungry to hear these new songs. I know we're so thrilled to have you guys come through South Dakota. It's very rare that we get Rock and Roll Hall of Famers to come through, and congratulations to you guys on the induction. I haven't got to see you since then and shake your
thank
hand,
you.
so you send my congratulations to the rest of the guys, and yeah, we're so proud of you, man. I've been a fan for so long, and to see you continue to evolve and to get out there and do it, it gives a guy like me at 38 a lot of hope, where I've never achieved anything like that. But if I can keep grinding at this, well, there's nothing stopping you from doing this for another, 4 or 5 decades, maybe. Grew up a big Grateful Dead fan. Bobby
Sure.
Weir's 80 something years old. He's out there doing it. So,
38, you're a young man. You got another 30 some years ahead of you to do all sorts of stuff.
well,
Yeah, we're looking forward to South Dakota. I don't even know if we've been there before, and if we have, it's been a few years. So any place that we've never been to, and there's quite a few of them actually, not just in America, but overseas and other parts of the world. But any place we've never been to is really special for us.
all right. Well, you're going to play at the Denny Sanford Premier Center here in Sioux Falls. They're good friends of ours. I just had a meeting with them today. I went into the arena and got to see it with, no seats down. And you
Oh,
guys are going to
cool.
have a great show. My only regret is I won't be in town. I'll be on tour myself, out somewhere on the other side of the
Oh,
state.
man.
But yeah, if you guys ever come back to South Dakota, I highly recommend you check out the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, and I'll put in a good word for you at the Buffalo Chip.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things we've never done. Speaking of gigs we haven't done, I don't know why, but we've never been able to pull up and do the Sturgis event. But that would be really cool, especially for Judas Priest. It's
Well,
a perfect hand in glove situation.
let me tell you what, brother. I grew up out there. I'm good friends with the guys, and let's make it happen. I got some of your people's numbers, and we'll see what we can get done. Let's make it happen. It's the 80th next year. It's the biggest one there's ever gonna be, right? Until the 80th.
Really,
Yep. They just keep getting bigger, and this is a huge one. So, Scott, I
I
don't want to
will.
keep you. I know you got a crazy busy day. Another happy birthday to you, sir. I really appreciate your time. It's been a treat getting to know you, getting to know a little bit about the band, and like I said, where you guys are going is really exciting. So for all of our fans, make sure that you are checking out Judas Priest here in Sioux Falls on September 22nd. And then you're finding them on tour. If you don't see them here, find them somewhere else. They're on the road. The Road Warriors.
That's right. All right. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Thank you.